School District at 6:30 p.m. We have a quorum. And could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Any changes to the agenda?
We have a revised agenda that is now correct for the evening.
I'll make a motion that we accept the revised agenda as stated.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous decision. Okay, on to the best part of the meeting.
My favorite as well, accolades. We get to do a superintendent award at all of our school board meetings. And this is a big deal because the teachers only get one of these a year. So they have to pick that one student. They only get one chance at it. This is their best pick for the entire year. So we really celebrate what's going on in classrooms, and we celebrate these students and their families. So we'll start off with kindergartner. Mrs. Sarah Dean has Pepper Knoll. Pepper, would you come on up here with Mrs. Dean, please?
All right, to the parents of Pepper Knoll. It is with great pleasure that I announce Pepper Knoll for the April Superintendent Award. I cannot think of a better classroom citizen to receive this award. Pepper is an eager learner, a quiet leader, and one of the kindest, well-mannered kindergarten students I have come across in the last 5 years. Because of these characteristics and her sweet disposition, Pepper deserves to be highly recognized. Kindergarten is a year of learning to read, write, count, and a plethora of academics, but it is also a year of learning to socialize, work well with others, form friendships, learn to self-regulate, and an abundance of other social and emotional learning opportunities. When I think of Pepper, I see a very mature kindergartner who is eager to learn all the academics, but also applies and practices all the other aspects a student her age is learning. Pepper comes to class ready to learn every day. She leads the classroom by modeling how a kindergarten student should listen and learn. Because of her ability to exemplify these skills, Pepper is growing exponentially in academics. Her work is always neat and completed. Pepper always shows respect in classroom conversations, waiting her turn to speak and listening to others. She is a positive voice in our classroom, sharing her ideas and learning with her peers. Pepper loves stories and always has a response about our reading and guides her peers toward comprehending texts. Pepper also picks up on math concepts easily and is able to complete her work and help others along the way. Pepper is also an exceptional classroom citizen and friend to all her peers. As said before, her manners and kindness are exceedingly above most children her age. When I first met Pepper, I heard Michael and Ashley remind Pepper to use her manners when addressing me. And to this day, Pepper always has a please and a thank you toward me, her peers, the lunch ladies, and all whom she encounters. Her kind, generous heart will lead her to do great things throughout her educational journey and in life. Pepper, do not ever lose your eagerness to learn, your ability to lead by example, your amazingly positive attitude, your sweet disposition and kindness, as well as the kind way you address those around you. Michael and Ashley, you are raising the brightest and shiniest of gems. Be proud of Pepper because I have a feeling she is going places. Congratulations, Pepper. You are so deserving of this award and so much more. and especially.
Ready to go, Pepper. Bouncing over to the high school junior high, Lisa Gunn is here with Brooke.
To the family of Brooke Fields. Technically, I've known Brooke since she came to RCCS as a junior high student and appeared as a letter inside a bubble on a screen. I'm referring to those lovely COVID years. However, it wasn't until this year that I got to truly got to know Brooke and who she is. I'm happy to say that she is a wonderful human being. Brooke has a witty sense of humor, she's sharp as a tack, an incredibly hard worker, and she always tries her absolute best. She's one of those students that I appreciate because she doesn't shy away from asking the tougher questions or for further clarification on a topic. It's often difficult to discern if a student is truly struggling with a concept without open communication, and Brooke is excellent at letting me know whether she's got something or needs that help. Academically speaking, Brooke is good at managing herself. I have her in health this year, and we have covered a lot of topics in a relatively short amount of time. Her grades have been wonderful, and she truly goes the extra mile when completing her assignments. I can often count on her to give deep insight on topics we cover and to thoroughly explain herself so that I can track her understanding and growth over the course of a unit. On a personal note, I have come to really enjoy seeing Brooke lined up at my door with her fellow students. She always greets me with a warm smile, a kind hello, and respect. Should she have an off day or need to step away, she's good at communicating with me about her needs. I may not have had Brooke every year she's been at RCCS, but I can already see how much she's grown as a student and as a person. She knows how to handle herself in a classroom setting, around her peers, and academically. She's open, honest, and trustworthy. I think that she has great potential to become a wonderful and productive adult. Keep it up, Brooke. You rock. Thank you.
And our final of the evening, Lexi Rodriguez has Julian with her tonight. Come on up, please.
To the family of Julian, it is my pleasure to award Julian my Superintendent Award for April of 2023. For those who have had the honor to meet Julian, most can contest to the impression he gives from the very start. When I first met Julian, it was during open house and he had yet to be assigned a teacher. After, Mr. Vasquez and I both mentioned how we would love to have him, and I was the lucky one. Julian is an amazing student with high expectations for himself, and because of that, he excels in all subjects. He takes on new challenges with perseverance. He does not allow himself to move on until he has fully grasped the standard we are trying to learn. Julian has an eye for detail. He listens to my expectations and ensures they show in every piece of work he produces. Julian is also an amazing classmate and friend to all. He always walks in and says good morning with a smile on his face. He is willing to help whoever may need it with almost anything. Whenever I pause to figure something out, whether that be technology or a broken toy, Julian is always by my side helping. He loves to make new friends and invites others to be included. I remember towards the beginning of the year when I was on the phone with Julian's dad about an incident with another student, he goes, "Julian said he's okay. He just thinks the kid was having a bad day." I laughed and said, "Of course Julian would say that." He sees the human in everyone, and that is something so special. Not enough people have that quality today. I just want to thank Julian for growing with me this year. I truly believe he has taught me just as much as I have taught him as a first-year teacher. He really was just what I needed in the classroom. Good job.
Can I have all three of those students and their teacher come up here one more time? We're going to do a quick photo. And Yeah. Pepper Brinker Award, teachers. And we'll have the students stand up front, I think. Yeah. Come on up, and stand next to your teacher. And this lady has the camera, and we're facing out this direction, okay?
Okay.
So the audience.
Ready?
Everybody in?
I'm gonna take a couple pictures, so I make sure everybody smile. You ready? Okay, here we go. 1, 2, let's not cut off his head. 3, and one more to make sure we got it. Thank you.
I'd like to try to summarize what I hear in those letters. This month's theme, I heard dedicated students, I heard smiles come up a lot. So attributes and qualities that we see in our best and our brightest. Thank you, families, for raising the kinds of kids that you do and letting us have them here in Bridgeport. We really appreciate it.
Hopefully they'll all run for political office when they get bigger.
There's your first vote right there.
Yeah, for sure. All right, congratulations, students. Thank you, teachers. We're gonna move on to, after accolades, community comments.
Let me run out and check the box real quick, because I think I missed one.
Yes, I have it all saved.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Pepper.
Keep up the good work, Pepper.
Good job, Pepper.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Under community comments, individuals may address the board on agenda items. Please let the board chair know what your item you're going to address. You're limited to no more than 3 minutes. You may address the board on a topic not on the agenda as long as it does not pertain to a complaint against a staff member. However, the board reserves the right to refer the matter back to the administration. And the first one is Alicia Hoyle. Are you here, Alicia? Oh, sorry, honey.
That's me.
Okay, you want to speak to us on
Yeah.
Coach Hamner and the archery club?
Yeah, so I did speak with John yesterday, and I probably have most answers I need, but I just felt it, that I should just, I just wanted to say a little bit more, and that's it. So I wrote a letter because I get kind of nervous and I didn't want to forget what I was gonna say, so, I'll go ahead and read it now. My name is Alicia Hoyle, and I've been helping Mr. Hammer with archery after school on Tuesdays and Wednesdays since the program started. I wanted to help because my son attends archery class both days, and I'm also an archery enthusiast as I have archery hunted in the past. In the past few months, I have watched the kids build a connection with Mr. Hamner through their passion for archery. The kids love Mr. Hamner, or Coach, as he answers to both. They respect, listen, and give their full attention to him during archery class. The kids also look to him for advice on the range while shooting to help better their aim towards the target. With all that said, I am here to express how much these kids need Mr. Hamner, their coach, as they proceed to the NASP Western National Archery Tournament in Sandy, Utah on April 28th and 29th. There were eight kids that qualified for nationals after placing in the top 10 of the elementary bracket at the state tournament in March. For all of us, it was quite a surprise when Highland took first place in the elementary bracket at state. There were 4 kids that came home with trophies and 1 kid with the best sportsmanship award. How awesome is that? Placing at state was not something we planned on doing, but neither was going to nationals. This is an opportunity of a lifetime for the kids that qualify for nationals. Some may not qualify the next year depending on their score and the bracket they're in. To all our surprise, all 8 individuals are going to nationals, and their parents want their kids to go and are gonna make it happen for them. There is one problem. The coach may not get to go due to no time off. The kids need and want their coach to go to nationals. He is the one who got them this far, and it's only fair he gets to go too. The kids depend on him during archery class and tournaments, as he is the only one who can coach them because coaches must be NASP certified for this program. It is unheard of to send any team or team members to sports functions, tournaments, and practices without a coach. I know that none of us plan on the situation we are in. There are things in life that occur unexpectedly, including nationals. I feel it is something we need to just go with and make it happen for the kids. Myself and the other archery parents would be grateful if you could find a way to let Mr. Hamner go with the kids to nationals. It is a big event with a lot of competition for the kids. It is going to be very nerve-wracking for them, and the kids need Mr. Hamner there for support and guidance on the range. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Alicia.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, next on the community comment list, Mr. Hamner himself.
Can I stand up there?
You're more than welcome. More than welcome.
All right, hey, I just wanted to say I'm totally excited that John and Amanda let me get the equipment that I got. These three archers right here, that team that I have, I've taken them to an invitational in Medford. I've taken them to the state meet in Albany. These kids are on fire.
How these guys stand up?
Killian? These guys have been with me from the start. We haven't done this that long. It's, roughly 4 months. One of the last schools I was in, I started their PE program. They didn't have one. And I went in and I looked at all the gear in the room, and here's the Genesis bows. And I hadn't worked with the bows that much, and I thought, well, that's interesting. So I got online. NASAP is what I found. And I was afraid they wouldn't let me, start the program. So I snuck off the weekend before that. I went and got certified. And I came back, and then my principal says, well, now what? And I says, well, you either got to let me have time off to go get equipment in Salem, or you go get it. He says, well, I need you here. So I stayed and I started the program. But I could I'll probably be over my time, so I won't talk too long. But anyway, I'm totally excited that these 8 get to go. I would love to go, but I know there's a deal with time and stuff like that. But I can tell you, I already have an airplane, and I changed it. Thursday is when I was supposed to go. And if I leave Reedsport on Friday, which is not a day I have kids, so there's no substitute, I could leave at 2 in the morning, get to Eugene. I could still be up there with those kids. So we just, thanks to Mrs. Foyle and some of these awesome parents, if it wasn't for her, hold me together. And these kids, she did all the registration tonight. So all I want to say is it's a great program. Thanks to John and Amanda for helping me get the stuff. Killian will be going into 7th grade next year, and if I can keep the thing going, she would be in the middle school team. The other 2 ladies, let's see, 4th, 5th, 6th.
Yeah.
Did I get that right? Anyway, it's an awesome program. These kids love it, and I would love to be part of it, but I'll leave it at that. But I can just tell you, look at the smiles on those faces right there. And I'm so glad that they showed up. And before I run over the time limit, I'm gonna go. But I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your leadership and your.
Absolutely.
Well, because of union contracts and stuff, Alicia, I'm gonna refer this back to our superintendent,
Yeah,
because I'm not up to date on that.
I understand. And
And I wanna thank you though for coming forward and
Yeah.
presenting this to us.
well, I feel like too, like I said, we pretty much kind of know the outcome, but I just wanted to speak my piece a little.
I think it sounds like for in the future, we better start planning on sending more of these
Exactly, we're gonna
kids.
plan ahead next time,
Yeah.
I'm sure, so.
And please don't, if you need help, financial assistance, please. The boosters are meeting every Monday night until the sports auction, and we want to hear about stuff like this and help out financially, so.
Yeah.
Come see us. if you
That would
would.
be great. Thank you
All
guys
right.
for your
Thank
time.
you. Thank you.
so much.
Is there anything?
But you don't want to stick around for the rest of it?
We did not receive any written report. Charmin would have told me
Okay.
by the meeting, so we do that one at the end of the meeting.
All right, we're gonna move into reports, and according to the amended agenda, we're not gonna have Ms. O'Brien or Harry tonight. So Brian Mr. Watts is virtual? Is he
That's
out
my
there?
understanding. Let's see if we can find him.
He's lost in the atmosphere.
Oh, I'm there.
Oh, Missy Kendron and, okay, yeah.
Okay, athletic report, junior, senior high, Brian Watts, you're up.
All right. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Well, first of all, congrats to Coach Hamner and all the kids that qualified for state. That's awesome. Qualified for nationals. And that's quite a feat, and just so proud of those kids and having an opportunity to represent Reedsport. So congrats to those guys. Sports wise, on the high school side, spring sports are in full swing. We've had a great start to the season thus far. We've had softball. They're 4-1 right now. They're 3-0 in the league, and they're at the top of the league right now. Baseball was undefeated going into last night's game down at Bandon, and unfortunately lost a tough one, 3-0. But they're 8-1 and currently ranked 8th in the state. Track has gone off to a great start as well. They won their Reedsport invite, and we've had some really amazing finishes with some runners. Our track and field, the field events, we're improving, and we're just getting started with junior high track, and that started last week with over 200 participants that came from Florence, Matron, McKinsey, and Walport. So it was pouring down rain, it was cold, and I didn't hear one junior high athlete complain at all. I think they were so excited to be out there. As long as they were with their friends, they were having a great time. And Coach Wright and Coach Smart and Joe Zielinski did an amazing job getting everything organized. But obviously, track meets don't happen without the help of all our volunteers. So we really, really appreciate that. We have one more home track meet on the 20th of April, and it should be a great one. So we can get a nice crowd out for that. Golf has been tough just because of the weather. We've had some cancellations, but that's kind of normal this time of year. But we were thankful to see the sun today. We've had a big turnout at the beginning of the season, a lot of beginners, but we're hoping to have a team. We should have a boys team together to compete at districts at Okatee in early May. And I'll tell you, it should be good for the program moving forward, because we've got a lot of younger kids, especially 7th and 8th grade as well, that are going to support the program moving forward. What else here? Boosters. I heard Carrie talk something about the Booster Club auction. The Boosters are having their annual auction on this coming Saturday, and I've seen some of the prizes come through the high schools thus far, and it looks like it's going to be a great turnout again. I believe it's sold out. So, boy, if we can get down to the event and support the Boosters and with sports athletics here in Reedsport, it would be great to see you. On the leadership side, I think we're one position away from moving forward with the mascot committee. That's been an interesting search, but it's fun, and the leadership class is really enjoying that. We've taken on some projects. Some are small, some are big. We're going to need some assistance. I haven't talked to you yet, John, but we need some assistance with a couple of them. So we're anxious and excited, and it's you're going to see some of our kids outside working, pressure washing, painting, cleaning, and doing some really cool things to planting flowers around the school. So and we're obviously, you know, if there's volunteers out there would like to do that, that would be wonderful as well. We went down to Highwood Elementary last week and spent recess with the kindergartners, and it was hilarious because it was kind of cold out, and by the time we got done with recess, the kids were all sweating walking back to the high school. So we really enjoyed that. We're going to spend more time down there, as much time as we can, making sure that we're down there at least once a week to hang out with the kids and have that interaction and that mentorship taking place. And I think that's about it for right now.
Any questions for Mr. Watts?
No.
Just a comment, Brian, that junior high track meet was one of the most well-run track meets I've seen in a long, long time. Kudos to whoever was the coordinator for that.
Yeah, Coach Wright did an amazing job. And again, the volunteers, it doesn't happen without all the volunteers.
Yeah, very good job.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to certified ARE representative Julie Knoll.
Good evening. I just have a few things. First grade was really excited. They got a whole bunch of books from Smart Reading Program and from Rotary. And next week they get to go on the Gift of Literacy sponsored by Rotary down in Coos Bay. And today in Miss Adams' class, she wanted me to share this with you. Mummification is where the history met science today in Miss Adams' class. During a unit on ancient Egypt, 7th grade students buried 2 chickens in a large mixture of salt and baking soda. The point was to find out how dehydration, the first step of mummification, happened in the salt and sands of ancient Egypt. After predicting, observing, and analyzing the chicken dehydration process, students arrived at a conclusion. The chicken dehydrated correctly and is now ready to be wrapped in the next part of its afterlife journey. The dehydration process began prior to winter break, so the students were excited to see it had turned out correctly. Thank you, Mr. Zwimke, Superintendent, and Grady Sevitz Teacher's Aide for helping in the process today. We had so much fun. And I just happened to be walking by Miss Adams' class today when they were doing this, and the kids were super engaged and it looked amazing. So it was kind of fun. I was excited that I got to peek in and see them. And I know that they posted some pictures on the Facebook page for the district. So if you guys want to see some of the pictures. And also we wanted to make sure to thank you guys for our amazing lunch that you guys provided for us for Staff Appreciation Week last week. So thank you very much.
All right, any questions for Julie? Thank you, Julie. Okay, we're gonna move down to the captain of the Daily team, Jess Daly, classified AR ESP representative.
Captain, I like that.
Yeah, I couldn't, Tommy's outgrown that now, so we're gonna make you the captain.
Always call him Tommy. His grandmother called him Tommy Tittle now, so you can call him that too. Well, thank you guys for providing lunch for us last week. We really appreciated it. It was delicious. We have our contract that we voted on Monday. It passed unanimously, all 32 votes. So that's awesome.
Good job.
Nice. Good job. Hopefully it was a positive experience. We really enjoyed it. We met with the district twice and had good communication and are looking forward to our contract. That's all I have.
All right, any questions of Jess?
Very nice.
Thank you, Jess.
Thank you.
Okay, moving down, we'll go to the technology report.
Sure, it's short and sweet. We are just trying to handle the day-to-day technology needs for our faculty, students, and staff, whatever they may be. Every day's a new adventure there. We recently completed, with a vendor's help, some of our server room cleanup here at the district office, and they did a bunch of cable testing for us, so that's good. We've started some state testing and no major technology issues there, which is a small sigh of relief for me. And then otherwise, we're just working on the planning of our larger projects, like getting all of our Chromebooks ready for next year's student body, transition to our new SIS, et cetera. So that's what we're working on.
What is SIS?
Oh, it's a student information system. Essentially, that is the system that records all of the data about the student, their enrollment, their grades and credits, and has their emergency contact information, their schedule, if there are special considerations because of medical issues or custody situations. I mean, all of the stuff is basically bundled up into the student information system, and registrar, counselor, attendance people, special ed, it's kind of the hub. And all of our South Coast neighbors are changing this year, like in the next 2 months. But we are trying to get it done before, well, it'll be after next school year technically, but yeah, so that's, it's a big project, I'll just say it that way. Yeah.
Thank you. Good to know.
Yes, thank you, Tasha.
Sure.
Any questions for Tasha than that? Thank you. Okay, she's been waiting all day, but let's go to the business manager, Rachel Amos.
Hold on. Are you, in your report, or are you just gonna bundle all the other, I'm just curious, how are we getting to superintendent report? Are you gonna pick up maintenance, elementary, junior high? For questions and
I've got a couple things and I'll take questions
Okay.
to the best I can, yeah.
Gotcha. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, now you can go, Rachel.
Okay,
Sorry.
no, it's fine. I appreciate the delay. It gave me time to pause, select. Thank you for the late Easter, early birthday, and future Christmas present of being able to condense our financial report beginning tonight. I'm so excited. It's a milestone. Gary, I just see that glimmer of trust in your eyes, and I'm just going to go for it. I have included the adopted budget, just updated so it wasn't a chicken scratch since we had some date changes and everything on it. So are those dates still looking good? Do we have any questions or any issues with that? Hopefully not, because otherwise it's going to be pretty tight to get another date in there. Board reports, everything looks good to me. I didn't see anything that stood out as a potential expenditure that someone might have questions on, but if you do, please share them with me and I'd be happy to research or answer your questions.
One of the things I'm gonna bring up tonight is, I'm gonna ask the board to join in with me to ask John to look into extending our bond or maybe going out for a new bond, or we need another gym at that grade school. That's ridiculous. After serving lunch for the grade school staff and seeing, what's going on there, I wasn't impressed. I'm sorry. It's nobody's fault. It's just that, we need to have another gym so the kids can have a lunchroom when they need a lunchroom and a gym when they need a gym. So I don't know what we have to do. I don't know if that's gonna entail money from your side or what, but I was thinking maybe we could look into enclosing the covered playground area back to school. And if that's gonna cost money to do engineering or whatever, but, you know, we need a gym at our grade school.
Sure. I can answer a couple little questions for you. Our general obligation bond that we are currently paying off does not, we don't finish paying on it until 2029. I think that it's something that we could start planning, but if we go out for another bond, we have to basically sell the bond that we have to pay them off and reinitiate a bond. And the interest rate that we're paying currently on the refinance that we did, with the interest rates right now, we would be in the hole big time. It would not be a financial gain for us to be going out for a bond just yet. I think that we need to keep an eye on where the interest rates are going. And as they trend downward, then we get closer to what we're paying on the repayment currently. That would be something I would be willing to help pursue. But it would put us in a bad situation if we go out for a bond right now, a rebond.
Would it be, I don't know if you can answer this, but could it be feasible for us to look into the engineering and stuff of it like that with the money that we have left in our budget, or is that gonna be part of that bond process?
I think that with the long-term planning grants that we have right now, those are good questions to ask to see if it's something that, you know, that we could look at doing with our current structure, or if it would be better to go for a new structure. Again, you know, your supplies, the supply chain and stuff right now, anything is going to be really expensive. I know what you're saying, but I think that we should start planning and not moving forward on money because of the interest rates and because of supply chain and the cost. I've seen how much things cost, and when we're hearing about it at our business manager meetings, I mean, an elementary school at, you know, $19 million, that seems a little bit out of the realm for us just in refinancing. But as we get closer to when our bond is paid off, I have some great people that I can get on the horn and have them start doing the work for the financial side. But going through our long-term planning and seeing what we have overall as a district for costs, because if we're going to go out for a bond, we want to go big bang for a buck. So if we're going to redo our bond and we're passing a bond, we're going to want to apply for the awesome grant too, to be able to get some potential matching funds. So we want to have all of that planning, not just focusing on one building in the district as we're moving forward with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else for me? We can get matching funds from the state. I'm really into that because, you know, they really take a lot of my time unnecessarily sometimes. So if we can get a little bit back from them, I like to pursue that.
Is the budget gonna be available? We're talking about dates. The lady that I've got coming in to be on the budget committee, she was on there last year, and she was hoping to get that earlier than she got it because she didn't feel like she had enough time to justify the.
I had paper copies here a week before the budget meeting. So how much time are you looking for?
I could ask her.
Okay, that would be helpful.
Okay.
I will do my best to do sooner than a week before.
Okay.
But yeah, if I can get a sense of what that's going to look like, then
Okay.
I can make sure I can work towards that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any questions, any other questions, Rachel? Okay, let's move on to our superintendent, please, his report.
I'm momentarily distracted by this contraption she's got on her laptop. It's like it's a sidecar on a motorcycle. Sorry, squirrel. Just an update, the calendar committee that's been meeting between the two buildings, they're getting close to wrapping up. I've told them that we will put on the May agenda the calendar for the 23-24 school year so that we can have it adopted and sent out prior to the end of the school year so families are aware of what next year will look like and the types of planning that they're going to want to do. There's one kind of original type of thinking going on. Otherwise, they're pretty traditional calendars. So I wouldn't expect a lot of change. I don't anticipate it will take a lot of time to deliberate once we have a product that they're recommending. I will call your attention to YouTube. Thanks to our IT assistant, our IT department, we've got a YouTube channel, and that's becoming an archive for all things video that have been going on. We've been recording board meetings. We have video of school events, and we need a place for those to live so that people can go back 2 years and start finding things. It's in its infancy, and there's only a few items in there now. I think it's the right thing for us to be doing. So board meetings, any of the school activity that's getting recorded, it's going to go there. It's simply called Reedsport Schools. So if you want to hop on and look, there's a couple board meetings on there right now, and as quickly as Al can get to them, he's been adding more. So Reedsport Schools with an S. So the principals are not here tonight. Yesterday, they spent all day in Portland at the convention center at the Educator Job Fair. This fair has been going on ever since I started teaching, so over 20 years. It's a long-running event. All the colleges alert their educational students that's going on, and the districts go, they set up booths, and all the college students, applicants are going up and down the aisles, interviewing, talking, seeing who has what job. Other states come. It's a huge deal. And for years I've gone, this is the first time I haven't. The report I got from Jerry and Amanda was that about 30% of what we're used to in the employees were present. We are in a crisis of staffing. It was barren. It was a desert in there. And I'm not even sure if that's how it's going to go, that it's a good activity for us in the future. A lot of time and energy goes into trying to prepare for attracting candidates to come and work in a school district. And when nobody is there, it's pretty disheartening. And I've been thinking for a month off and on about what's going into staffing right now. A lot of districts are grabbing everybody that we can who are have a heart for students. They have an aptitude for teaching, and we're hiring them with emergency licensure, and then we're training them and sending them to school, getting their college degrees with their licensure done. But they're not candidates who are going to show up at a job fair. They're already hired. They're locked into a position somewhere. So the model has almost flipped from go to school, get your license, go to work. Now it's go to work, get your license. And that doesn't make the crisis, but the experience that has resigned, the experience that has retired is noticeably missed. The experience of what you learn in those college programs isn't there. Everything is on the job, hands-on from that point forward. Districts are grabbing everybody that we can. We're locking people into positions. The sub pool is very shallow, and subs can pick what they want to do when they want to do it. And if they don't like a situation, I'm frequently hearing about subs quitting districts because they thought they were going to go work in one particular classroom, and when they arrived at the school that morning, because of staffing issues, people being out, they have to do something else, and they don't want it. And they're in control. They get to pretty much pick where they want to go. So the sub pool is drying up. The applicant pool is disappearing. So as we post positions, we've grabbed everybody around us who is talented and able to teach, and we've got them hired into work. And right now we have vacancies, and the kids coming out of college aren't there. It has become kind of a crisis level condition. I'm going to throw on to what Rachel said just a minute ago, that the state of Oregon and the legislatures, they're calling for a lot of requirements and a lot of things that schools need to do. That means adults in the school district have to do things. And if they're doing things for paper pushing, they're not doing it directly with kids. So we're hiring and we're needing jobs filled that don't serve our students the way it was 10 years ago. The staffing crisis is multifaceted, it's complex, and it isn't just Reedsport. When I sit with other soups, when I sit in commission meetings, everywhere in the state is reporting very similar, exactly the same to what I'm describing. And we're hearing it at a national level. They're closing schools and consolidating schools to make use of the staffing that they have, just so that they can serve the kids they have, which means class loads are doubling, classes of 45. It's occurring down in Arizona. The attractiveness of education as a profession post-COVID has evaporated, and it's not something that we're going to solve here for the national picture, but I want to raise awareness. I want people to understand that this is going on. Every time we call on people for more, and they're great people, they give us everything they can, but we're breaking them down at the same time. I visited with 3 of my former staff from my former school district, and independent of each other, they're all leaving the profession. And that was a small school the size of Reedsport. And 3 of them are, one's an administrator now, 2 are teaching, and they're just tired, they're wore out. The negative parts of the work are beginning to outweigh what was good about the work they were doing. They're looking for career changes. They're going to have to be replaced. Districts will probably have to find people locally and raise them up, send them to schooling while they've got them working in the district in the daytime. There's just a lot of challenges. So if you haven't put all those pieces together yet, I just want to raise awareness. It's becoming more and more apparent to me. Most of my conversations I'm having about things center around who's going to do it, because there is a lot of work to be done. Literacy is important. Serving students, finding opportunities for students, critical. No doubt in anybody's mind how important it is. And the question falls back to who is going to do those things.
So if we think outside the box in order to attract teachers, and we come up with a great idea and we activate those thinking ideas outside the box, what's going to keep the state or the federal government from coming in and slapping our hand and saying, no, we can't do that?
Yeah.
I mean, is that realistic in the future? Or the way we're doing it now going to be able to continue? Hire them and then give them a job and then get them certified or send them to school.
I'm going to pat myself on the back just a little bit. I'm on the Teacher Standards Practices Commission, which I'm one of 2 superintendents. There's licensed educators, and there's board members, and there's colleges as part of the commission. And they do a lot of rulemaking to follow the laws that the legislature sets up. One of the ones that came up in COVID was emergency licensures. And we needed to be able to license people quickly to get them into classrooms because we were short and we knew it. And that had a 1-year window. It was sunsetting, and voices in the room early on were prepared to let it sunset. They were saying that they're not trained. They haven't got a 4-year degree, and they're coming in day 1 and they're not ready. And I went on a bit of a rant that, correct, they're not ready, but they've got a heart for kids, and the responsible school districts are going to do everything they can to support them and bring them along. We wound up repassing the rule, and it's coming up for permanent rulemaking now, and emergency licenses are going to be a permanent part of what we use in Oregon, because there is a need. And if we don't pay attention to alternative ways of thinking, outside the box thinking, we're going to rely on a system that is falling apart, that's antiquated. And the teachers and the colleges and the rooms were not seeing that. And they really had to step back and realize schools are going to close their doors if there are no adults in them to keep the doors open. We need adults. We have to change. And so if I've done anything ever in TSPC, it's getting that piece going and keeping it, because as a small school, we do have talented individuals in our community. We just picked up 2 music teachers. We're going to have to go through that backwards process with them. But hey, guess what? They know music. They've got a heart for kids. The kids respond well to them. We're going to make something work. They need to be supported in how they do this, and they're doing a great job. Just perfect examples of what we can do right if we just think a little bit differently about it.
And do we, in that process of them getting certified, do we help pay for their education?
Both of the contracts right now have language for tuition, and some programs. There's a program operated by the REN called Grow Your Own. We've had one of our people use that Grow Your Own, and there's money through that avenue. There's lots of money out there, so helping them find it if it's not coming from our union to support them. Most of these people are getting quite a bit of assistance, and that's highly appropriate. If we expect them to do it on their own, we're not going to get there. So we need absolutely have to help them, and there's lots of ways to do it.
It was to say if not, then maybe we need to start looking into that for thinking outside the box scenarios.
Yeah. When I first arrived in Reedsport, one of the things I wanted to do was a 4-year contract payback where we would pay anybody's tuition if they gave us 4-year commitments. And if they left early, they'd pay us back 25, 50, 75% respectively. And it didn't fly very well at the time, but I think post-COVID, I was on the right track.
Yeah.
Because that's a big incentive. If they can go and get their degree and help pretty much get it all paid for, plus bringing a paycheck in while they're doing it, that's a huge incentive.
Yeah. And I hear other districts say, well, they don't deserve full pay if they're not licensed. They're doing full work, and we absolutely got to pay them the complete piece.
Sure.
Anyway, that's my rant. There is a crisis in staffing, and that is my new overlay to every single question that gets presented to me. Who is going to do what we're asking for?
Well, like you said earlier, I was talking to my niece, and she's a principal at a grade school, and Klamath Basin is talking about shutting down 4 schools.
Yikes.
And, and that, I feel for those kids, because they've been going to school. Some of these kids have been going to the same school for 6 years, and now they're gonna get bused clear across the basin to places unknown, just so they can have enough teachers to teach.
Right.
She's thinking about getting out of the business, and she's a principal.
It's hard.
Yeah,
it is
it
weighing
breaks her
on
heart
people's
every day, she said.
weighing on people's souls. So that's my rant. Any questions about anything? I'll try to do what I can for the elementary and high school report, but
Let's talk about principal's office and the front office at Highland.
yeah.
For crying out
Are we
loud.
moving to shop?
It's been like,
Or maintenance?
I saw drywall going up yesterday, drywall going up today. The drywall is in, the doors are framed. So where we left it last week when we were doing our staff appreciation meals, there's drywall now. So
okay,
but the can lighting we were waiting on for a month showed up unexpectedly. We were initially talking about dropping the cans in from the top after the drywall, but now we can do it correctly and put it up first and then the drywall second. So that fell into place for us. The doors we were waiting on. There's an exterior door going to go into a courtyard area. Was a hang up on starting drywall. It's in, so the drywall has started and the cans showed up mysteriously. So
Do you have an ETA from your general?
You know, I asked Mike yesterday, he was gonna talk to Win, and then Mike went up to tree planting, and now he's on his way to Bend, so I haven't got the answer. Because I did ask that question, and
Because I think we need that answer. I think we need to not,
I'll email him.
and I don't think anybody has a stomach for any more delays.
No.
I'll email him.
If all the parts are here, then they need to put the people to it and get it done.
Yeah, Mike's description was that they're at it pretty vigorously. So he did describe that. Office.
You're not gonna know what to do when you have more space.
Yes. I'm getting used to my closet. I'm gonna have like PTSD leaving it, seeing the windows.
Any questions for John?
John,
Young people going in the cheat sheet, is it because of all the extra paperwork and stuff is why they're not going in? Are they aware of that going in or?
I don't know that the colleges have done a survey of why people, when they leave high school, are not taking that 4-year track to go in. That is a great question. I don't have an answer for, and I don't even know if the colleges could tell us right now.
That was a big thing, everybody was kind of going to cheat sheet and stuff, and now it's like, wow.
There's,
Well,
yeah.
what you might find is that the pendulum swings.
Mhm.
So you create this vacuum where nobody wants to go into teaching, and all of a sudden, that's where all the jobs are, so that's where, people
Right.
rush to that. So, I mean, that's my hope, at least, that, you create a need and people will fill it.
I agree, and I understand that. I hope it doesn't take too long, because always those pendulums, I feel like it takes so much. The colleges are busy, mind you. They've got plenty of students. It's just the model flipped. They're dealing with people who are working in classrooms in education. So they're doing night school, they're doing weekend classes. The colleges are busy, they're fine. It just isn't the way it was 4 years ago. So they may not be overly concerned about why their student model has changed, because they've got all the business they need.
Maybe it's for the better though, a little bit too, though. If you think about it, you raise it the way we kind of want them to adhere to our vision,
I don't have a problem with it, because talented people doing work are going to be talented.
Right.
Oregon has always had some of the highest licensure requirements, some of the highest graduation standards, expectations for its educational system. And you compare them to the other states, Oregon's always the top in what we expect to happen. Now, the outcomes we get vary. I mean, you can see that, but to get an Oregon license is a lot of work. And so maybe this modeling is showing us that people in other states might have something figured out and don't have the highest set of requirements, and expect to always have your labor pool filled. Now, we might be getting a message. So.
Okay, thank you, John. Consent agenda. I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as written.
Second,
One second.
been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
And
Approved unanimous.
it was Oldright and Boer, yes?
You second, right?
Yeah.
Old.
I did.
Okay.
Okay, next topic, action items.
I would like to first thank the classified union ARESP for their work with labor negotiations and their recent CBA negotiation. Some of the most efficient work and respectful work and just fun work to do that we've had, that I've ever seen, period, ever, anywhere in labor negotiations. But we have maintained a good communication channel now for several years. And I think that showed up. We didn't have a lot of a lot of irons to get figured out. We were able to get straight to business. We knew what we wanted to address. We dealt with it. So you have the items that we've asked for, that they've asked for, summarized for you. Do you have copies? Okay. I'm going to get you copies here in a couple minutes, but I'm going to ask you to ratify the contract changes for them. They are agreed upon with your board committee who is there. Here. I'll go like this. The board members who were on the committee agreed to it. I support it, and I would like a ratification vote on our end, which is going to give Carrie Jones a chance to sign off as chair, and we'll be able to have a completed contract before we need it. This will be for the July 1, 23 through June 30th of 2026. So your action would be to ratify the contract for ARESP for July 1st of 2023 through June 30th of 2026. Not a lot of changes made. Important changes, though. We need to keep up with the economy. I think we've done so, and I think that they made some fair requests, and we've tried to address them.
I don't need a copy of it.
You were there.
I was there.
And while you're looking it over, the ornately carved feather pen in front of Chairman Jones is ready for his signature if we get to that point.
You put a little Easter egg in there for us. That's nice.
Yeah.
Cool, we're doing good, man.
Downtown Reedsport, I think he's now in the Gardner School of the Arts.
Oh, yeah.
I think he carves all the feathers. So yeah,
That's on Jess's desk if you ever have to go sign a student out. That's the one
that's the pen.
Fun.
you sign your kid out with.
She always has unique things.
I might not
Like a
go-
library card for a countertop.
Yeah, well,
That's
I
unique.
reorganized. You'll have to pop back in my closet because I reorganized last Friday, so.
Well, I've gotten used to it, so I don't want to be too surprised before you move.
That might not go back to your desk, just
No, you can get one.
Yeah, right there.
Thank you, Sharman.
I will take mine.
Yes, you would be a copy.
Oh, I want mine in blue, like this. Yeah, I have the little sheet version that could be yours.
The recording, I'll talk to you about it later.
Are there any questions about any of the items there? And again, your subcommittee worked hard and brought a complete package to you that they approved. So I would strongly encourage you to be able to ratify it.
You need to entertain.
You have to entertain a motion.
Yes, please.
Is that a motion?
I'll make a motion to ratify the ARESP contract as written.
Second.
We moved to the second, we ratify the ARESP and district contract. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody
Aye.
opposed? Carries unanimously. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
I
It was
think,
a nice, smooth procedure.
yeah, it was very good.
Yes, you're.
The back of the blue page there, Mr. Jones.
Oh.
Is there a signature of mine?
This one.
Nice and plain.
Isn't it on the, it might be.
Yeah. It's on the master book. We have you sign and date this one. I'll sign it so that we'll send it back with Jess, and then we might have you sign the second one when we have a full document, just so that she can report to her group that it was ratified and mission accomplished. Or
The 12th. I'll have to tell you how I presented it to him.
She gave me a sealed envelope and told me that the votes were inside. Red was no, green was yes. And because it's Jess and I appreciate her humor, I was nervous opening an envelope that was sealed.
Was there glitter?
That was the guess. There was no glitter, but it was just one big piece of paper that was green. Because it was a unanimous vote. So I appreciate the levity. It was pretty much the entire process. Very smooth, very amicable. Our unit and the district have a good rapport that I think is going to carry us well as we go through the remainder of our work together. We'll get a cleaned up version of the meeting. You got your signatures. Okay.
Action item D.
Can we do B, C, and D together? Because they're all very similar.
Yes.
So you have some ESSER requests. When they're a capital expenditure over $5,000, they require board approval after we've received ODE approval. So the gym floor proposal, forklift machine proposal, and security cameras for school bus proposal are the three ESSER submissions. They've all been approved by ODE. We can proceed once we have board approval in making these purchases and in doing this work. I'd answer any questions you have about them.
Why in the heck do we need security cameras on a school bus?
The bus department has asked us several times, with the driver facing forward, something watching and listening behind, some of the kids' behavior would probably improve. We're getting instances of things going on and bus drivers not able to see and watch the road safely. So having it documented and then being able to review and say, hey, you were up, you went over, you slugged them in the face. We've got this on video, you're off the bus.
They can't take the bus driver's word for it?
If the bus driver doesn't see it and the kids aren't talking in some cases, it's as quicker and simpler. We'll have access to the camera. We've got a lot of cameras around the school district as it is. Dan and Brian Clear respectively can cue it up. Yep, this is what happened. They can deal with appropriate consequences. Should expedite a lot of things for us. They've had buses on, cameras on buses off and on in the past. It's been inconsistent. They've been the systems where it's a tape and you take it back to the bus barn. You got to transpose it to a drive. You got to bring it to the school. This is a updated system that is live, like those doorbell cameras. We'll be able to see it live on our computers because we're going to have access to the system. So I think this is a better partnership than the types of systems we've used in the past. And some of these have got audio, as long as it's not too far down the bus, we should be able to use that as well.
So just out of curiosity, do they ever do mounts front and back?
I'm only aware, I've only ever seen front. That's an interesting question.
But I think you should consider, I know the budget is here for it.
Lewis has this set up and they're working with a vendor. And remember, Lewis is a contractor for us,
Right.
But we see the value. They're our kids. They're pretty much always, it's our kids. So we see the value in having the access to the information, why we're partnering on this project. But I'll ask Scotty to, does it need to consider the rear view as well as the front view?
Or can we take the old system and maybe, sort of utilize it as well?
Are they a self-contained unit? Otherwise, if they're doing Wi-Fi or something,
No,
how's that gonna work? Ash Valley or 26 miles.
they're self-contained. When you're back in service, then you got access, but they're recording in the unit while they're driving. they don't need a Wi-Fi signal to operate. They'll need a Wi-Fi signal to send and receive. So going up Smith River and you're dead for an hour, but when you come back the next day, it's there, and we can see it right away on our computers.
Well, and the kids don't, I think part of the presence of the camera also is what helps regulate.
Knowing that it's there and that it's working.
Right.
Mrs. Gilman didn't have any problem kicking me off the bus. I'd be walking 7 miles to home.
I just sent it to Sherman.
Any other questions on?
Well, yeah, are we on the hook for maintaining the system? Then it's our system, you know, and it's installed on Lewis Transportation's buses. So it's up to us.
I'm fronting the cost, and I'm expecting him to keep up the upkeep. And
They'll keep up.
yeah.
Okay.
We have an error, and Rachel just caught it. There was 4 ESSER 3 proposals turned into ODE. 3 of them were over $5,000. The forklift machine was not the one that we were supposed to bring. It was the tractor. We have a utility tractor for the school district for lots of use, lots of pieces. That's the one that needs to be in here.
So the forklift is under 5?
No, it's over 5. So if it's over 5, we have to take them to ODE for approval, and we have to notify the board. The board has to act on anything over 25. So the forklift one is for information, but the tractor, the cameras,
Yeah, I'm
and the gyms.
confused. When we talked about it before, it was for a tractor. Now you're talking about a forklift.
No, they're both.
We're both. The forklift is going to be in the warehouse for dry good foods, because we're going to need to start going up with our storage. So we need a small unit in here for that. The
Is that
tractor.
a drivable or a standing?
Yeah, it's one of those. It's not a big one. Yeah, it's a pallet lift for getting on and off of Costco shelves. Not a pallet jack, but it's a lift. The tractor though is going to be all around the district where it is needed, bucketed tractor.
Is it going to be able to be parked inside, not like the mower parked outside getting rained on?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Lowers made inside.
We'll get you the tractor one here hopefully in a couple minutes. We've emailed.
Sherman, I emailed that to you. If you have a chance, can you print it, please?
Yes, I'm working on it right now.
Thank you.
Okay, so the tractor one will be in here in a minute. So I would ask for the Gym 4 proposal and the security camera one, and I'll get you here in a few minutes, the tractor.
And remind me when the district allocation for ESSER funds has to be used?
September 30th of 24.
Okay.
When? September 30th of 24.
Oh,
One
okay.
more
Still
full
have
year and
some
several
portion
months.
of that.
We're doing good.
And do we have a bid or anything on the gym floor?
We almost got started this week until the contractor that we were working with, his crew was dog tired. He needed to give him a break. So we still have his bid and we're still trying to schedule with him. But he can't get it done. They're already booked for summer. The initial conversation was to get him literally in this week. But his crew was done. So we're going to have to either reschedule with him. We've also reopened our looks with some of the other contractors that do this work. It's a small pool, so that there's not a lot of them. It's a specialty work. So this one is in Washington that we've been talking to, and it was pretty much a hurry up job, and he couldn't pull it off with the time frame that he had. I'm not overly upset because we only had about 2 weeks of discussion with him. He was going to hurry to get us in. But usually you're a year out on any gym floor group ever. So we're going to look for some other ones to be done sooner than later. I would like to have it done before we have to do any sports, but summer times are usually booked years out.
My question is, though, are we kind of getting the cart before the horse if we're going to have a new mascot? I mean, we're going to change that again.
The proposal and the mock-ups we've been doing don't include a mascot on the floor because we weren't going to put the R in the compass if we know we have a mascot coming. We're going to say Reed Sport, or we're going to put an R because we know who we are. We know who we are. We're not going to have a mascot image in there that would be convoluting. And then 5 years down the road, when you need to redo it, you know, if we're ready at that point for mascots, we'll have a better clue. But all the mock-ups have been Reed Sport, Brave. Or not Brave. We're not even saying that much. They've been Reed Sport and R and then the appropriate OSAA color schemes.
Can I ask a question that's, talking about contractors and the high school about the shop roof? We'd offered a contract to a contractor to redo the shop roof here about a year or so ago. I was wondering if that is in motion or redoing the contract for that?
We've had people out working on parts of the roof. I'm not exactly sure which.
You were gonna replace the whole shop roof.
We have not replaced the whole shop roof yet. Yeah,
But my understanding, if I remember correctly, is that we had a contractor that was going to do it. The problem was the supply chain for the materials.
yeah, okay.
I'm just curious about that.
I'll run that question back through Mike. That would have been summer 22. Okay. Okay, I'll search that. So now you should have the tractor, not the forklift machine. The forklift machine does not require board approval, so I'm looking for the gym floor, security cameras, and tractor so that we can proceed with those purchases.
So we're changing our action item to from forklift to. we're gonna
Tractor.
Change C to tractor.
See the tractor. Outdoor equipment purchase tractor. Yep.
We gotta revise the agenda then,
Um,
and then do a motion.
Any actions that you're taking need to be moved correctly as the motion that you're making. And then it doesn't require an agenda. If C as written, it doesn't occur, then nothing happens with it. It just dies.
So why don't we do like CA or C1 or something like that?
Okay,
And then that way we don't have to revise the agenda.
okay.
Because otherwise we'll have to revise, if we strike it and then put it in tractor, we're gonna have to revise the agenda.
Okay.
So, because we already made a motion on the agenda.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're at liberty to change your agenda throughout the
So-
meeting if you need to. But however you want to do that.
I'll make a motion that we approve action item B, C1, and D. And we'll just leave C out to be, all by the wayside.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve action items B, C1, and D. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously.
D.
Well, that better be a good tractor for $61,000.
The tractor is not actually 61,000. If I remember right, the code is like 52, but when I was laboriously trying to write them and getting numbers, I wanted to make sure we had enough in the approval instead of having to go back, and so I went a little high. But the tractor itself is not 61,000. We just have approved that, just that amount to spend it.
We'll just say that's one heck of a tractor seat.
Or maybe you can get attachments with it.
There you go.
Well, yeah, no, so, yeah.
It's not very nice to discuss brand new tractors in front of a guy that can't afford to put fuel in the old one, but on a new tractor.
You're preaching to the choir, Gary.
It's a solar powered tractor.
So remember that, most tractors are alleyways.
Yeah. That
Okay,
was why we
moving
would
on.
get all of them put in for approvals now, knowing that we have a little over a year to spend the funds does not make me feel comforted. I'd like to get this in this order so that we can meet
We're
that
looking at a new
expenditure.
tractor brush cutter. It's out, almost 90.
Move on to action item E.
Here it is. I'm losing track of my agenda. Okay, integrated guidance is an ODE requirement that we are participating in. This is the super plan that absorbs 6 other plans. It absorbs the same pool of money that we were getting in those 6 plans and makes it one pool of money for us. So our old high school success plan, chronic absenteeism, student investment, CTE, ESSA, one more. Anyway, I reported on this last month, and this is the plan that is been submitted to the Department of Ed, the budget that goes along with it. It's spending the same money that we've spent the same way for this entire time, restructured into the new plan format. So we do need to have a board action that approves this integrated guidance so that we can proceed to continue to spend that money in the way that we continue to spend it. I'm happy to answer questions that I
Didn't we
can.
bring this up one time before and we didn't involve enough people or something?
We brought it up last month. I reported on some of the details, our school psych, our SRO, we pay for our social emotional stuff in it, our nurses, some of the contracts that we operate. Those are in here, some of our tutoring, things that we've done and will continue to do are just now consolidated into this one approach. The ODE's big push here is they want to be sure that the process is transparent, that it's getting reported, that the community is aware, that the community has a chance for input. So they didn't think that was happening, I think, so much with the previous 6 iterations. So now they're doing it into one and really trying to advertise that if you want to give input on how your districts are spending money, you need to be paying attention to these plans. We're required to post them on our website. We're required to pin it to the Department of Ed's website. So people who are hesitant to ask us can go to the Department of Ed and look at it there and see it. A lot of surveys, they want to gain input, so the staff surveys that went out, the student surveys, the family surveys that just went out recently, we got our data back. We use that to continue to inform our decisions. Hasn't really changed a lot because the things that we're doing with the SRO, the nurses, people feel are important enough, we should be continuing them.
Okay. Entertain a motion?
I make a motion, we approve, action item E, approve Oregon Department of Education, integrated guidance plan.
Second? Second. Okay, moved by Eric and Jack. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Passes unanimously.
Okay. Now we're into policy. We have 2 returners from chapter E, and then we have 10 new ones from chapter F. E chapters, you asked for some revisions. EFA version 2. This was the one, it started out as 10 pages, and there's a whole bunch of stuff I was saying we don't need. It's over directing, policizing the work. And so what you see in front of you with EFA is now the condensed, clean, meets the requirement of what the law says without all the extra material that was in the way. So you asked for a cleaned up version to review.
You can combine them together to cell phone.
Okay. And on cell phones, you had a question about whether we needed this or not. I reread it, and this absolutely applies to us. We do have some of our employees that we stipend to carry cell phones. This policy addresses those situations for us. We don't currently have any school district assigned provided cell phones, but having both sets of language isn't hurting us here. I don't think we need them in the future either, but we do have staff members who do pay a stipend to. They are expected to use their personal cell phone in a professional capacity. So this policy is necessary for that management regulation. So the question was, do we need it? Yes, we do. And that's chapter E.
We can combine a motion. Oh, I guess it's just F, so we can just do F, 1 and 2.
Yeah, do you want me to move into the other chapter F and all the next 10? Or do you want to put E to bed?
Let's put number 1 and 2 to bed.
Okay.
I entertain a motion for approval of EPA and EGA, CJ.
EFA and EGACA.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I'll make a motion to adopt F, numbers 1 and 2. 1 is EFA, 2 is EDACA as written.
Second? Been moved and seconded to adopt EFA and EGACA. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Okay. Chapter F, now I get out the big book. And this was one of the nicest, easiest, cleanest chapters of homework you guys have and will get. It doesn't get better after this. Well, I apologize, but F is the one you were waiting for. You might get out early tonight. So please ask me to pull any of the items you have questions on. We'll review. There are no areas where there's superintendent notes. So this is any polls strictly come from you guys. Number 1, policy FA, facilities development goals, recommend delete. Number 2, FB, facilities planning, recommend keep. Number 3, FBB, enrollment projections, recommended updates. Number 4, FC, capital construction program with recommended updates. Number 5, FEA, capital improvement educational program, recommended updates. Number 6, FECBA, energy conserving construction, recommended updates. Number 7, FF, naming facilities, recommended updates. Older. Number 8, FI, temporary school, recommended delete. Number 9, FJ, temporary district facilities, proposed policy. Number 10, FK, facilities renovation, recommended updates. Okay, Carrie, you asked a question about FF naming facilities.
Just because this is the one we're using to go into committee process regarding mascot, potential mascot name change.
And
Is it
the
still-
Steve Pepio
And
baseball
Steve-
field
Right,
is still
okay.
hanging out there.
I haven't heard any updates on that committee process in a while, so, so those are questions I have. I mean, that seems appropriate, Pepio facility process, but an actual mascot isn't a facility, or is it covered? And is it appropriate to just continue to use this one? I mean, it's a,
This is the closest thing that gives any guidance about a mascot change.
and this, they didn't have any recommendation. I mean, I would have thought that the state board would have had some recommendations, legal would have had recommendations considering what we've been through in the last few years. Is there no mascot renaming process that's
The
a
equity
better
lens,
process?
the equity lens that we're supposed to follow for everything in education now would cover culturally sensitive names, images, icons. And I think that becomes the guide, that there is no policy yet about what you can and can't use for
So we
that.
will continue to use this process.
This. At least gives guidance on a structure to follow in being thorough and including the community in the aspects before the board makes any change to a mascot or in naming a field or anything.
And this is the process leadership team is following now, and they kind of have a handle on it, so.
Sure.
Doesn't seem, okay, just a question.
Any other questions?
Put it back here, Tosh. I don't know if it's open.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, back to you.
And we'll bring this back for a second reading.
Or you can hold them or approve them.
Is there anything you want to hold for? Then my question answered, I'm the only one with questions.
You were okay with that?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve action item G, small desk policy rewrite, review section F, facilities development, first reading, items 1 through 10.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried by unanimous vote.
All right.
Okay, let's move on down to discussion, budget committee.
We just need to make sure that you each have a board select or a board member, a budget committee member picked out, ready to go, and that we get the name and phone number and email address of that person to Charmin. We need to get some communication sent out, so we want to be sure that each of those members is included as we're.
Can she, if you got the same one as last year, can she just take it off of the last year's?
As long as we notify her that it's the same person, the same information, yeah.
Now, are they gonna have to go through a background check just since they're volunteering on the budget committee?
You're not in
They're
the
not
schools.
In the school.
Yeah, you're in the school district. You guys don't have to have background check to do this work. If you are going in to volunteer, you would, but this is not in the schools. So
If
no.
I'd have known that, I would have volunteered to go to school, so.
Whatever.
So no, this is more open.
Okay,
You need all that information tonight, John.
We promised to have it by Saturday.
Okay.
Hang on. Something going on Saturday.
Yes. 9 to noon, yeah, Vince Adams, so.
I know, it's a surprise to me too. I was
Welcome
gonna
to
sleep,
the party.
I was gonna sleep in. Have a big night that night.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, board member comments. Jack, you're up.
I'm good.
Von Boer, you're up.
I tell you what, last week, when we did the appreciation lunches at Highland and at RCCS, I really enjoyed that. It was fun to see the staffs together in entirety in the faculty rooms and have some good conversations and stuff, and that was, I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that.
Okay. Thank you. Carrie O.
I agree with Bonnie. That was really nice. It'd be great to be able to do it all together. I think that would be lovely, but I understand the limitations.
Yeah. Mr. Derrick.
I thought the board had a budget or a line item in the budget for like depreciation, the monies that could come out of that, towards that. Our work we do over in, like we used to go with bands in Portland, there's money for that too, so. I don't know.
We bought a bunch of t-shirts this year and we had a set value on each of those, so we knew what we were spending. And so everybody got a long sleeve red t-shirt and that was part of it. When you guys go to summer conferences, you'll be tapping into those monies for that. Feeding people is a little bit random because who wants to eat what, how much, how do we ensure that we're getting everybody hit the same way? So we.
Like depreciation week, where we have to feed them, wouldn't that be a part of it?
Yeah, I'm not sure that we serve everybody. I think it's just a question. We know we gave everybody a shirt and everybody got the same amount, and we, in the board handing that out, there's no question. When we do the meal, not everybody's eating, and when we're done with it, where does extra go? We have the extra shirts, we keep them or we get them delivered. It just is a little bit squirrely. What do you do with, you just throw all that food away when you're done? Or if it's going home with people, why is it going home with people if it's public funds that are spent to use it? Just the perishable nature, I think, makes it a little different versus the shirts that we didn't use. They're on the closet in Charmin's office, and we'll be sure those get out to future staff members. So that's probably the difference that you're wondering about.
Yep.
When I buy coffee cards for all staff, then that might be a direction I go to. If everybody gets the same $5 coffee card, and I'm not gonna be throwing any of them in the garbage afterwards.
Everybody had the offer to come and have the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Used to be the board fund would pay for that.
Well, I'll talk to my business manager again.
She's gotta take notes.
I don't know what the conversation was. I don't know how much money was spent. I know that there was a conversation earlier this year asking questions about purchasing items for staff, and I don't know if maybe that's where it came out from, because if you supply meals and gift bags and shirts and things to staff members and you start getting excessive over what the allowable amount is, then we have to actually run it through payroll and tax them on it. So breaking down the dollar amount per person is probably where that came in. But
Wow.
I don't know. I can follow up on that.
To do the right thing and do the nice thing and treat them the way that we want to treat them, for sure there's a lot of dang rules.
I mean, the great thing about ESSER funds is we've had a lot of money coming into the district that we could do things that we normally wouldn't be able to do. But
Retention.
the problem is also that it comes with a lot more audit requirements, and things are looked at more meticulously during the audit process because we have to automatically have that as part of our audited funds for a single audit. They pull that out specifically separate. And then they pick another big one that they do. I think this year was Title I, last year was the Food Service Fund. So just a lot more scrutiny and have to be careful with what we're doing with the public funds. But I'll follow up on it.
Thank you. Well, I just want to throw out there that Saturday night, if you didn't get tickets to the booster auction, you're too tough out of luck because we're sold out quickly. We got some amazing donations this year, and hopefully we're gonna match or, what we did last year. I think it'll be difficult. A small booster auction like Reed Sports. I did both Reed Sports and Newports. And a town the size of Newport with all their industry and stuff, our booster auction did $27,000 more than Lincoln County did before. So just amazing, a bunch of alumni and people showing up to support our athletic program through the booster organization. So if you can make it Saturday night, we'll be there. You don't have to bring your pocketbook, just come and say hi. So thank you for the hard work on the negotiation team, guys. I appreciate it. And with that, I think we're going to move into executive session.
Okay. When we do that, we'll have to go each student at a time.
What?
We'll need to do each student one at a time.
So the two ladies in the audience, thank you for attending.